Yo, check. What's going on? This is Gant, Elgant. Checking out Breaking Records Radio. Let's go.
Hey yo, it's your boy Monster Man Rocco.
It's your boy Swagger Rock.
This is Snack the Ripper.
Hey, you rap for those who don't know.
This is Master Ace. You are now rocking with the best. Breaking Records Radio.
Breaking Records, man.
Breaking Records Radio.
Breaking Records Radio.
Breaking Records.
Breaking Records.
Breaking Records Radio. Let's go.
Breaking Records Radio.
Press 5 now. How you check Breaking Records Radio.
Breaking Records, man. Radio is like the place to be. I don't fuck strange music, dude.
Check it out, Breaking Records Radio and the place to be. You know what it is. It's your host, Maloney, and I got a very special guest on the phone with me right now. This dude's been doing his thing in the underground for years and years and years. Super lyrical dude. You might recognize him, from back in the day, MTV Battles. You might recognize him from JMO Gang. You might recognize him from a lot of different places. But we got Gant on the phone with us, man. How you doing?
Hey, man, what's going on? I'm doing good, man. Good to be on. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great, man. I can't complain, yo.
Beautiful.
Yeah, man. And, first off, I just want to thank you for your time tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Man, appreciate you having me.
Yo, no doubt, man, no doubt. I actually opened up for you guys when you were in Toronto here last on the JMO Gang tour.
Yeah.
And Maestro was there and shit.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I remember that well.
Yeah, I was one of the first acts up there, but yeah, man. So you guys put on a real dope set. That was actually the first time myself getting familiar with you, and then when I went back, I copped the JMO Gang vinyl. I love the vinyl, by the way. Super dope album.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Great content, and then when I went down the wormhole and checked the history, I'm like, damn, like this guy's been around for a minute.
Yeah, man, I feel like I'm that, like Tom Hanks and Forrest Gump, man. Like you'll see pictures throughout hip hop history, and you're like, El Gant was there. Wow, that's crazy.
You know what? Actually, too, before we do get rolling, the fact that you said that, that's one of the things I love about doing interviews is just learning and uncovering just cool pieces of history from the people who were there and stuff. So, just the fact that you said that, actually, I'm kind of curious. What is like, what's the way to word it? Like, what is the coolest hip hop memory you have of like something, that might not have necessarily involved you, but something that you were there to witness, like firsthand?
Man, you know what? It's for me, it wasn't the things that I was part of as being El Gant and performing. It was the stuff that I was part of as a fan.
Yeah.
I think it's that stuff that inspired me the most. And I remember two very discernible moments that made me want to really, really rap and just being such a fan and blown away by. And one of them was the first concert I ever saw as a kid. I saw Cypress perform in my hometown. I grew up in Poughkeepsie, New York, which is like 2 hours north of New York City. A little more out there. And you don't get that many people coming to your town, and those dudes showed up, and Rage Against the Machine was actually the opener.
What?
And yes, it's before they really, and I had to be in like 7th grade or something like that. I was like 12 years old, but I just remember going. One of my first albums was Cypress Hill's album, so I was a huge fan, and then just being in that crowd, the first time seeing a live show, and my first live show was that, and then not knowing that. A year later, Rage Against the Machine would be, the powerhouse that they've now been for, almost 30 years. That was a big moment for me.
Yo, that's sorry, not to cut you off. I just wanted to say, that's super cool, man. So, I'm just curious, too, what kind of, capacity venue was that? Have you seen them before they blew? Now, now they announced their comeback tour and they're selling out stadiums. So, you got to see them before they turned that page. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like our concert venue. I'm going to say it held maybe 3,000. It wasn't tiny, but it wasn't very large.
Yeah.
It was kind of one of those mid-level venues, and it was the same venue that they'd have a boxing match or a hockey game. It was just that one venue that you just did everything in.
Yep.
And it's funny, and I'll circle this 360 degrees. About 3 or 4 years ago, because I do come from a smaller city. one of the only dudes, from my town that kind of, I don't want to use the term made it, but, made some waves in that genre of music. I was asked to come back and perform with, like, God, who was I with? It was, like, Method Man and Redman and Capone and Noriega and Lord Tariq and Peter Gunn. And I was asked to rock in my hometown, and then I was on stage at that Civic Center, just rocking for, like, all the kids that are now grown adults. That were, like, it was just crazy full circle. I'm like, man, this is cool. Like, this all came around. Wow,
man, that's so cool, man. Like, just to have one of those memories, and then to actually get to the point where you're rocking that stage. You know what I mean? Like, that's super dope.